likeness is to put shoes into something else. For example, you can put yourself in someone else's shoes to put a description in their place. You can say, the snail gets to be slow, but they can see everything in closer detail. Like getting to see the dew drip from the blades of grass on a foggy morning when the cold of December finally comes around the Central Valley. You can put yourself in the perspective of the snail because of how even the words get to describe the likeness of being in the snail's shoes. Did you just imagine yourself as a slow snail? The cold morning on the slime of your back and the fog makes it hard to breathe? But you get to see every little thing and feel small bits of concrete roll under your skin as you pass by them, and watch small bits of cold water drop from the dark green blades of grass. That is perspective. For Nagel, he talks about a bat, so he says, I want to know what it is like for a bat to be a bat. Yet if I try to imagine this, I am restricted to the resources of my own mind, and those resources are inadequate to the task. I cannot perform it either by imagining additions to my present experience, or by imagining segments gradually subtracted from it, or by imagining some combination of additions, subtractions, and modifications. We would have to develop such a phenomenology to describe the sonar experience of bats, but it would also be impossible to begin with humans. One might try, for example, to develop concepts that could be used to explain to a person blind from birth what it was like to see. One would reach a blank wall eventually, but it should be possible to devise a method of expressing in objective terms much more than we can at present and with much greater precision. The loose intermodal analogies, for example, red is like the sound of trumpet, which crop up in discussions of this subject are of little use. That should be clear to anyone who has both heard a trumpet and seen red. But structural features of perception might be more accessible to objective description, even though something would be left out. And concepts alternative to those we learn in the first person may enable us to arrive at a kind of understanding even of our own experience, which is denied us by the very case of description and lack of distance that subjective concepts afford. The more different from oneself the other experiencer is, the less success one can expect with this enterprise. So in our own case, we occupy the relevant point of view, but we will have as much difficulty understanding our own experience if we approach it from another point of view as we would try to understand the experience of another species without taking up its point of view. So what do I relate to? What piece of media do I relate to and put my shoes in? A show I really relate to is MGM Plus's From. So why From? That's the name of the series. So this show dives into conversations of how leadership is a heavy role that affects not only the lives of others, but in theirs and their own success. The main character of the show has a lot of people depending on him, so they won't die when the monsters start showing up at night. And the more people he loses, the more he starts to question how everything is just targeted at him, and if he's even leading people the right way. I have always been appointed as a leader in most cases with groups, or when I am looking after those who are younger than me. And so I put it in my mind that whatever happens to them is entirely on me, and that idea that of fault makes me sick to the head. Another example of mine is through this song. I relate to Advice by Alex G from the Trick album. I'm too scared to play the song right now because I am creating this video and putting it on YouTube, and I don't want to risk being copyrighted. So most people relate to lyrics and tunes because there's something familiar. If a song talks about your current situation, you relate it. For me, Advice has lyrics even I cannot understand what the singer is talking about. I listened to this song during a time when I was experiencing disorientation, depersonalization, and derealization. I had help for it, but I still experience it. I feel like my soul is not in my body and I am running on autopilot. The song does not make sense, and it feels like the lyrics do not match the tune and the melody. They are still together, like my soul is nowhere to be found, but the lyrics are still there. They are near, yet they are far. So take what I relate from the TV show and the song. I relate to the show because when you get so deep into responsibilities, you get lost and start questioning if you're leading people the right way. And I start to question myself if I am even doing anything right or if it's because my soul is not in my body. The song becomes a theme of my identity, and the show grasps at who I am trying to be.